Hello, everyone on YouTube. Welcome to Wellness Coach. My name's Stefan Ravalli, a host here at Wellness Coach. I'm also a meditation teacher and content creator. And I am joined today by Dr. Julie Rosenberg, whose vast well of knowledge is going to take us into the terrain of laughter as a healing medicinal practice. How are you today, Dr. Rosenberg?
Hi, Stefan. I'm doing really well, and it's great, as always, to be with you this Thursday afternoon. I wanted to mention that this is kind of a new topic for Stefan and I to delve into with the group here, and I hope that everyone enjoys the discussion, and we'll practice a little bit of laughter meditation on his or her own.
Absolutely. I think I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how I do here. We were talking a bit about my involvement earlier, and I've certainly done laughing yoga, and it's really powerful. I haven't been demonstrated on screen as practicing a laughter practice, so let's see how that transfers. All right. So before we begin, everyone using the app, so glad to have you here. Please get further in with your interaction and use the Q&A box and the chat box and really unlock the potential of the Wellness Coach app. Any questions, any comments you might have? Dr. Julie is an endless well of expertise you can tap into here. You can also put up your hand. I see some people playing with that feature now, putting up the hand up feature. That's for us to enable your mic. You can talk to us directly with your voice. I'm not going to enable those yet until we get the discussion going and have a meditation to settle us in. So, but if you do have a question, keep that hand up or put it up later, and we will have our moderator, Lindsay, activate your mic for you. All right, cool. So before we begin, let's do a practice then. If you want to drop us in to something to settle us into today's discussion, Dr. Rosenberg.
Sure. So I like to start each session with just a little bit of breathing together to kind of settle us in and have us have an opportunity to be together more robustly by connecting through our combined breath. So if you'll just find a comfortable seat and feel the support of the ground underneath you, and then just from the belly deep into the chest, begin breathing normally, and then take a deep breath, inhaling belly, chest, to a count of 3 silently. And then exhale, chest, belly. And just check in with yourself and see how you feel. And then we'll take one more breath together. Again, in your seated position, feel the tension leave your body as you take a second inhale. Begin with your belly and inhaling to the chest, holding it for a silent count of 3. And then releasing it, chest, belly. And again, just check in with yourself, see how you feel, and feel some of that tension melt away. And again, this breathing practice, if you'll open your eyes together, we just spent about 20-25 seconds just settling in. And during your day, keep in mind if things get challenging for you, that is an excellent practice. Just drop in and breathe. It'll help you to alleviate reactivity. It'll help you to feel more settled and more present. And it only needs to take a few seconds. Okay, Stefan, so are we ready to go?
I think so, yeah. Let's do this.
So I brought up the topic of laughter medicine because I think many of you know I'm an oncologist and I work in a fairly serious discipline. I'm taking care of people with cancer and developing new drugs for people with cancer. And one of the things I realized in my serious life was that I just wasn't laughing enough. And in actuality, I really wasn't smiling enough. And I think what I've learned over time in the meditative practices, as I've delved deeper and deeper into meditation, is that there are many ways to enter in. And for those of you who have a tendency, as I do, to be a little bit perfectionist in nature and to be self-critical, one way of just alleviating that monkey mind is laughter. And so with Stefan, I just wanted to try a very, very um, brief practice, which allows us just to settle in as we just did, but also with a bit of a smile and a bit of a laugh, allowing us maybe to forget our cares and to embrace a bit of silliness. And so, what I'd recommend is that we just start together, breathing just for a moment, and then we'll drill down into why these practices might be helpful to continue. But if we start our breathing practice again, just gently from the stomach up into the chest. Assume just a simple smile, and with that small smile, just see how you feel turning up the corners of your mouth. Do you feel as you're breathing maybe just a little bit more relaxed, a little bit joyful? And keep breathing. And then, without being too forceful or too fake with the laugh, just gently try a bit of looseness and a small laugh, like, and smile. And try that just for a moment or two. And if you can't manage too much of a laugh, just keep the smile and breathe. Let it go. We're in a land together of a bit more joy, a bit more resilience. How can we bring joy to ourselves and others? And how can we relieve our stress with a bit of joy and laughter? And if you're gently open your eyes. Stefan, let me just ask you first. Do you feel a little bit different with assuming, a small smile, a bit of joy, maybe thinking about a bit of humor and deeper breathing as you might assume a posture of some laughter?
Yeah, definitely. And I was doing it. I didn't want to distract people, so I put myself on mute. So I was finding it easy to do, especially when I was on mute and in the quiet of my office. But yeah, I feel a little refreshed actually from that, and a little uplifted.
Yeah, so that's good, and obviously, while I'm instructing, it's hard for me to fully appreciate the laughter situation. But what I can say is, when we smile, we do relieve tension, and our lives are just so full of stress now. When you're able to laugh and able to smile, and I hope some of you, and I'd like to hear from you, were able to do that. What we do is we alleviate some of the things that constantly make up that chatter in our minds, and we can let go of so many of the things that are stressful in our worlds by just thinking about humor or just having a bit of laughter and a bit of joy in the moment. And once again, when you smile, you look so much better in terms of your persona. So many times when we're stressed, we have that, and just trying to let it go, trying to smile, breathe, and enjoy the movement of the belly, the freedom of the body when we laugh is just so important for our state of well-being. And I'll tell you, in this moment of time, we just lose the feeling of joy so often as we are confronted by business, we're confronted by trauma and drama and all the things that go on around us. Just trying to drop into those moments of joy, those moments of freedom that we feel with laughter, I find really important. And Stefan, I'd love to hear from you and also some of our students as to how they feel, and if this practice was awkward, or if it might have let them feel a little more refreshed and relieved.
Definitely. Well, Samira says she was feeling wonderful joy during that short practice.
That's great. That's great. Samira, I love to hear that. And I feel like that's what we're all trying to achieve. And why not achieve it just as often as we can? Dropping into a bit of laughter, or if you're not in a situation where it's appropriate to just laugh out loud, what about if you smile to yourself and smile to others? A smile is contagious. And remember, it can really shift the dynamic in the room, just a bit of smiling, especially when things are tense.
Definitely. And D says he felt awkward, but now he feels relieved from that practice.
Yeah, and it is a little awkward. And thanks, Steve, for sharing your thoughts. It is a little awkward at first, and I'll tell you, for all of the folks online, it's easier to do it, and we can really get into it. Sometimes easier when we're in a group together, but. I'll tell you, you got the freedom if you're in your office by yourself. You do have the freedom to let go, and letting go together is really relieving in a community of so much of this stress. But just even on our own, if we can smile and just feel a bit of joy in the moment and just let go of that awkwardness, that ability to let go of awkwardness can translate into something really important as we feel awkward in other areas of our life. Can we take it then and let it go?
And a couple more comments here. Eric says that laugh example that Dr. Julie shared helped me laugh in a more natural way. I always feel great and carefree when I laugh.
Thanks, Eric. That's great. And that's what I'm really trying to get at. I just think life is so serious nowadays. We have so many things confronting us as individuals and as a society. Where can we let go? And that's the principle of meditation. Remember, we're trying to let go, we're trying to experience the freedom of our minds. And sometimes laughter is a good way to drop in to that sense of freedom, that state of well being. And can we sustain that state of well being? Laughter and smiling, it's just a great way to do it. Other
Definitely.
thoughts, comments?
Yeah, there's more comments coming in from that short
Great.
practice. Barbara says it was a great, relaxing, and enlightening practice.
Great.
And
Thanks, Barbara.
and Tina says, yes, and it was good. When I was at work and I talked on the phone to my customers, I put a small mirror where I could look at myself and smile. It worked for me and it removed my stress and I breathed much better.
Thank you. And that is what we're trying to share here. So that's a wonderful comment. You feel a bit more open. Breathing is freer. You feel freer in your body. You know, we tend to carry so much stress in our body. Just a few moments of smiling and laughter. Can we settle in? Can we free ourselves of stress? And that's
Yeah,
one way to do it.
and I happen to know that phone sales, a lot of the training is to be smiling while you're doing it. Because people can tell on the other end, it kind of lifts up your voice. And in my opinion, it probably makes the experience more pleasant for the person doing the job, and anyone enjoying what they do is certainly going to have more success at it.
Yes, yes. And I think it really lifts our spirits. And, you know, if you're in a situation where you're not always enjoying it, one way to try to enjoy such a situation more is to smile, is to let go, is to laugh, you know, find not only some humor, but some freedom in any situation that might be stressful or tension provoking.
Definitely, definitely. Thanks so much for that feedback, guys. Definitely keep it going and coming and ask us any questions. I have a question about that practice because I have done extremely dramatic laughing practices, and that one was very subtle. I mean, you could almost sneak that one like in public. Maybe not quite, but almost, without looking totally crazy. But can you take it farther? Like, what's the full extension of that practice in terms of a laughing meditation?
Well, I think, Stefan, I think honestly, for everyone, it's really up to you as an individual. I realize, and again, want to acknowledge that doing this can feel a little bit awkward. And I think that it does feel for most of us a little bit awkward. But I think if you can actually sustain that for even 5 minutes, what happens is, you know, you really release endorphins. hormones that really help you, I think, to relax and to achieve a state of relaxation. And also you'll feel some tension relieve from your body. You know, you letting go. That's the purpose of laughter. Can we let go? And remember, when our minds are clouded with busyness or thoughts that provoke tension or disrupt us or make us upset or nervous or anxious, sometimes laughter can really help to just let it go. And that's what I would recommend for people. You know, just try even 5 minutes in a major practice. I say major, like a full meditation is often 20 minutes. That's a bit long, but if you can sustain it even that long, I would suggest that you might feel great for the remainder of the day.
Definitely. And I would say that the tension that we feel that makes us feel awkward about doing it is dissolved by the laughing. So the practice itself makes the practice easier to do once you open up the floodgates. And actually, D has just written, we should do another practice. Second time is
Right.
the charm. We've jumped into the pool, you know.
Right. So
The
let's try it again. I was going to try it at the end, but as we're getting close to the end. So what I'd like everyone to do then, why don't we go ahead and dive in? So we've all been through the awkwardness, and why don't we just start with some breathing? If you'll gently close your eyes or just hood your eyes if you don't want to close them. And again, feel the comfort of your seated position, feel the ground beneath you. And let's gently just start with some deep breathing from our belly up into the chest, and repeat quietly after me before we get into the laughter. I will smile more in my life. I will allow myself to feel more joy. I will allow myself the joy of laughter and the freedom of laughter throughout the day as much as I can every day. And if you're not already smiling, I'd invite you to turn up the corners of your mouth and just gently from your belly see if you can laugh. And if you'll join me from the belly. And if you want to continue that practice, I'm going to gently open my eyes. And Stefan, I'll ask you to open your eyes as well and go off mute. And how did you feel that time? And we'll invite comments from our participants as well. Was it easier the second time? Do you feel more freedom from that type
Yeah.
of meditation?
Yeah, I felt a lot more fluid with it. I mean, laughing isn't like hard for me. I guess it's just that feeling of like, is this a genuine laugh and should I be doing it? Like the mind keeps doing that, you know, and getting in the way and saying, that laugh sounds a little forced and kind of crazy. Now, come on now. And then after a while, I'm like, it's a sound I can easily make, and it's a feeling I can easily feel. And then that just started to like kind of build and became more natural. I feel if I kept
Right.
going with it, I'd be I could easily be you know, cackling like
Yeah, and remember the laughter, the joy that we feel, the smile, it's contagious. If you smile, I smile. And sometimes when everybody's smiling, we forget about many of our troubles. And that's what we're really trying to do. And then with meditation, for those of you who tend to hang in your heads and find difficulty meditating, if you try this technique again, even for a few seconds, as we've been doing here, you know, I've been trying to take us in a very short practice and utilize the time that we can all experience together and understand the value of it. But if you can do this for just a few seconds, feel the freedom that might allow you to delve deeper into your overall meditation practices. And so, how do you feel? I see Dee saying feels like Friday now. Amen. Any other comments?
Samira said she loved the island imagery, thoughts of an island during the practice.
Great, great. Good to hear that.
And Tina says, love this. Plan to practice it often. Thank you. We may help someone just with a smile.
Right. And I agree with that, Tina. Thanks for bringing that up. And that's what I keep coming back to. You really may help someone who's struggling just with a smile. And sometimes, honestly, you don't need to say anything to be present with a smile. It relieves stress and it relieves tension. So I'm glad that this was helpful for so many of you. I do hope that you will practice this at home or in your business environment. Again, smiles are contagious, laughter is contagious. Let's all feel a bit more joy in our lives.
Definitely, definitely. I find that that's just a really good antidote to the things we're struggling with. And by the way, guys, we're just a bit past 20 minutes, so if you have to go now, definitely do so. So you've got a great practice to play with. But let us know if you have any final questions at all. Anything that else that came up. Any other comments? And I'm curious too. What makes you laugh? What fills you with joy enough to laugh? Is it like something entertaining? Is it cringe comedy? Is it YouTube videos of people falling? Is it political humor or British wit? What is it that really gets you going? And or is it just simply being alive sometimes? So and I have a question too about laughter. Like comedy is often like lurks on the edge of anxiety, like things that actually may fill us with dread and potential suffering. Is kind of sort of used as material for comedy, and it's often like laughter and terror exist on like this like really similar points in the spectrum. So is laughter also really kind of a good medicine when we are really afraid of something? Can we laugh at it without being, I guess you can say, like disingenuous or discrediting what we're experiencing?
Yeah, I think that laughter, Stefan, to your points, is a good anecdote for anxiety. And so, if we do have situations that make us anxious, it is really good. Can we find some humor in those situations? And can we look at ourselves and find some humor maybe in our responses to situations that might be anxiety provoking? And I think that's good. And then comedy helps us do that too. I personally enjoy comedy that kind of plays to areas where I might not feel as comfortable in, or things that I might do that I find difficult, like be too serious, making fun of people who are so serious, and just looking at that and being able to find some joy and saying, okay, I'm too serious. Let me let go. Let me lighten it up. It's better not to be serious all the time. I think it's good, and I think the practice of laughter, the practice of smiling, it does offer that opportunity again to rid ourselves of some of the anxiety and so much of the tension that we feel oftentimes. It's just a great practice.
Definitely. And, when I actually started meditating and I really began observing myself a lot, which, a meditation practice can tend to stimulate in a way that's good, positive, not like neurotic, always saying, like, why do I do that? And I noticed I had a really vicious sense of humor. Like, I mean, it had like a meanness to it, like the things I would laugh at, the things I would be so irreverent towards for
Mhm.
my own entertainment. And so I began to question, my sense of humor a lot and questioning what makes me laugh and if it was healthy or not. And is it good to kind of observe our laughter and say, why do I find this funny? Is this can laughter be unhealthy in a way if it's directed at the wrong thing?
Well, I think anything could be unhealthy, obviously if it's directed at the wrong thing. But I believe, Stefan, that kind of the point that I really want to relay to folks, without delving too deep, into the genesis of laughter, it is really, can we let go through our laughter? That's what I really want to leave you with, because we can all have a bit of black humor. We might be able to laugh, or we might laugh sometimes at things that might not be totally appropriate. But if we really try to drill down and try to understand everything in depth, we might lose the freedom that we can gain just with smiling and laughter and that openness in general. And that's what I'd really like to stress. So I hope that is helpful for you and for everyone else. And maybe don't think about it too much. Just let it go.
Great, great. All right. And so, any practice you want to leave us with here to let us go and help us let go
Why don't
everything?
I just leave us all with a short sort of meditative mantra again? Just in concluding, thanks so much for joining, everyone. I appreciate your engagement in this topic. And just in the last few moments, say to yourself and mean it: I will experience more joy in my life. I will lead my life with joy and laughter. I will lead my life with a smile, and I will live a life of joy, laughter, and opportunity. And with that, I say, Stefan, namaste. Be well, everyone. Until next week.